All right, kia ora folks. Wanted to have a little bit of a look at NCEA for Year 11s for 2021, how you select courses and just a little bit on how NCEA works. So NCEA, very difficult to school certificate. School certificate was essentially designed to weed kids out. NCEA is designed to keep them in school and recognise learning that has happened. So it's a different way of looking at learning. Everybody does 6 subjects at level 1. Some of those may have exams. The exams are called externals. All of them have assessments during the year. Those are called internals. The system works on credits, and each assessment has a different number of credits. So you might have a 2-credit assessment, a 3-credit, a 4-credit, a 5-credit, and so on, up to our largest assessments, which are 12 credits for Year 11s. For most of the kids, they can actually achieve level 1 before they go off to exams at the end of the year. Right, so what do they need to achieve level 1? Firstly, they need a minimum of 80 credits. That's not what they should be aiming at, but that's the minimum. Of those, some need to be numeracy and literacy. Generally, that is not an issue. Their programs are designed so that we ensure that those are achieved. The other thing that the kids might talk to you about are endorsements. So some courses don't have merit and excellence associated with their assessments, but for most courses, you can get achieve a standard with just with achieved, or with merit, or with excellence. When they add up all of those credits, if they add up to 50 or more at merit, they get a merit endorsement. 50 or more at excellence, they get an excellence endorsement. When does that really matter? Well, we want the kids to be achieving as highly as they can. Those are just good habits. But secondly, at level 2, the universities decide on scholarships on the basis of excellence credits at level 2. Good habit to get into. All right, so let's talk about putting a course together. Everybody takes English, Maths, and Science, unless it makes more sense to replace Science with another subject because of the path that the student is taking. So English, Maths, Science, plus 3 other subjects. Choosing those subjects. Look, I think parents sometimes, and I remember doing this myself as a parent, we sometimes get quite invested in subjects that we think that they should be taking. Probably you ought to start out with what are the kids interested in, what are they good at, because they're, in all likelihood, they're going to be more engaged in those and they're simply going to do better. Relatively few careers stipulate certain subjects that you have to have done at school. We'll look at those a bit later on. But to a large extent, the subjects that they choose in Year 11 for most kids are not critical. Interest first, and then where's the subject leading me to? So, in thinking about where's the subject leading you to, it's best to go backwards. Look at level 3 and then work your way back into what do I need to do in order to do that subject at level 3. There are other opportunities for the kids in Year 11. STAR courses, which are courses taught largely in association with the local polytechs, whether that's UCOL or Whetideo or Welltech or wherever, allow them to gain credits. They are mostly courses which are 1 day a week, half a day a week for a term, or maybe a course which is run during the holidays, or whatever it is. They will gain extra credits, often level 2 credits, towards their NCEA through those courses. At level 2, that then can become more intensive workplace training or trades academy courses. So View those as extras depending upon interest. This is how a course might be chosen. So let's take somebody at an extreme end. They're interested in medicine, and we know that in order to do medicine, they have got to have done chemistry for a certainty. They should have done physics. They will struggle if they have not done physics. It's useful for them to have done statistics. They really need to have done biology. So starting back in year 11, English, Maths, Science, as per every other course. This particular child has chosen health science and psychology because it fits quite well with the course that they want to do, and mech engineering because, well, why not? Interested in making things, it's fair enough. Doesn't have direct relevance, but neither is that a problem. In year 12, now things are starting to narrow down. English, physics, chemistry, biology, because those are the most closely aligned ones. Statistics, because that's going to be pretty important to them as well. Psychology as related and interested. So you can see for this is one of that really narrow range of subjects where there becomes relatively little choice, but there still would have been plenty of choice at year 11. If they were doing English, Maths and Science and 3 other totally unrelated subjects at year 11, it still wouldn't have made any difference. Here's somebody else interested in boat building. You can see that their course, if you have a quick look through those, that is largely around that boat building area, but still, digital technology. There are other things thrown in there which are just courses that they're doing simply out of interest. Students read is a wee bit more common. The hasn't got a clue person at year 10 is really the norm. So they're doing English, Maths and Science again next year, and then they've got 3 other subjects because they're interested in those subjects. Great, no problem with that. By the following year, things have changed. They've started to become a little bit, they maybe did a star course in level 1, and they've now become a little bit more interested in salon work and hairdressing and so forth. So they've done a Trades Academy course and then off to Polytech and into an apprenticeship. All right, let's switch to things that are important to know in year 11. Keeping the kids, as mentioned earlier, there are a lot of assessments. Keeping the kids tracking their progress is just really vitally important. They have calendars of their assessments that they can see via their portal. They can see all of their assessments. They can keep track, and they need to keep track for themselves. As a parent, if a question that you're asking them is how many credits have you got now, and they can't answer that, that's a pretty big indication that there's a bit of an issue there, that they're not tracking how they're going. We also, of course, track how they're going. So down the bottom it mentions benchmarks and mentoring. So every so often we're looking at each student, and we're getting a bit of a gauge about, are they about where we would expect them to be? Fine. Are they ahead? Excellent. Are they dropping behind? Well, at that stage, we're beginning to have a conversation and working out how best to help them, and probably having a bit of a discussion with you at the same time. If we think about what our expectations are for them and for the school as a whole, that gives a pretty good indication of how we do. And we do well largely because that benchmark and mentoring system works really well. And because we've got great students and teachers as well, of course. So the vast majority of our students, 92%, get through NCEA Level 1 on the first try. This is going to be new for next year. That is, on the portal, there will be a graph showing how, and I'm not going to go into the details of it now, but showing how a student is going compared to where they were when they started the school. That graph is, there'll be a little bit of ups and downs, but compared to the rest of their cohort, they've stayed pretty steady. That would be things are fine. This graph, on the other hand, would be things are going pretty poorly here, and what's happening and what intervention does there need to be and why. Here's a bit of advice for you. Link into their assessment calendar so that as assessments are coming up, you can also see, and without being naggy, basically just say, I see that you've got this one coming up. How's that going? Attendance, utterly critical. The connection between attendance and success is pretty clear when you sort of see the graphs. If they're not here in NCEA, they will drop behind in their assessments. There are simply too many assessments happening during the year to be away. The parent portal is really important. It's our most important way that we communicate with you. And I think with the parent portal, if there is an issue or if there's anything that you don't understand on it, contacting us and having a discussion with us about it, and that's vital. I realise that at secondary school, often parents are a bit more reluctant to approach teachers. Your young person has quite a few teachers, and look, email us or ring us. We would far rather know than not know. For the kids, they're also getting into a stage where some of them will be starting to work part-time. Great, that's fine. The word of warning for you is that the research shows that over about 15 hours of work a week becomes not fine. Their performance tends to diminish. So overall, the advice moving into NCEA times for your young person would be being here all the time, working consistently, having a really good understanding of what's coming up and what needs to be done and how they're going. That'll get us through and keep the communication going. We would far rather hear from you. If you're in doubt, should the school know about this, then we should. All right, good on.